Hey everyone, it's your favorite host, Marcus Norman, of the forward to this interview all month. A month and a half, actually. I am so excited to bring you this lady that is making waves and she's changing the future of how we can bridge the gap between several generations of family and care and love on our families, even when they're not physically at home. You won't want to miss 1 second of what she has to say and the information and what she's doing to change the world and change the family dynamic. Stay tuned, stay with us. Here we go. Hey everyone, it's your boy Marcus Norman, your favorite gentleman, and I have today the incredible, amazing Lee James. She is the founder and president of Social Robotics, Social Robots, a social enterprise that offers robot helpers, get this, to engage and entertain residents and staff at retirement homes and long-term care facilities. Miss Lee is passionate about the opportunity for companion robots to relieve social isolation, boredom, and loneliness for older adults. Your families, I'm talking your families, my families, our loved ones, our older loved ones that we care so much about. And she is here to help us get to a better place. Her vision is to support the mental health of residents and staff in assisted living by leveraging social robots to help people be more connected with each other today. This tech savvy consultant and genius and entrepreneur with over 25 years of business experience, Miss Lee is most certainly here to help us get to a better place and spill some tea, not all the tea, on what she's doing and the impact and change she's making in the world. Help me. Welcome to the stage, the incredible, amazing Lee and Mindy. Welcome, Lee and Mindy. Who do we have here? Yeah. I love this.
Hello, my name is Mindy.
I love it. Love it. Oh my God. Hi, Mindy. How are you?
Hi, Marcus.
Ooh, she said my name.
I am happy to see you all.
Oh my gosh. You all see that? I'm in love already. I want one. It's not even for me. I want one. Miss Lee, thank you for joining us on the Gentleman Style Podcast. Stage, you and Mindy look fantabulous. I love it. Miss Lee, tell us what inspired this incredible phenom.
Oh, thank you so much, Marcus, for the opportunity to talk about Mindy and social robots. So I was inspired by my father, actually. So I was working in a robotics company or a design studio. We were designing robot apps for banking and automotive. And at the same time, in my personal life, my father was diagnosed with Lewy-Body dementia. And I started to see firsthand the impact of social isolation on him and my mom, frankly. And I kept thinking robots should be able to help. And I know most people don't think about robots and older adults in the same conversation, but hopefully by the time we're done today, your audience will think that robots are wonderful for older adults as well as young people. So I was just inspired to keep looking and researching. My father passed away in October of 2019. I had taken a sabbatical just before he passed away to really kind of focus on family. And when he passed, I thought, I need to just keep doing this. And so I decided to launch Social Robots as a company, and I've been doing pilot studies, and it was a little bit delayed by COVID because we were deemed non-essential visitors and we weren't allowed into retirement homes in Ontario, which is where the business was founded. And now I'm out in Western Canada and trying to sort of find some more opportunities to roll them out as well as in the US. So I'm happy to speak to your audience and answer any questions that you have.
This is huge. This is groundbreaking. I grew up loving robots. And so can you help me? Can you help the audience understand what's the difference between mechanical robots versus service robots? Because I believe that's what Mindy is. What's the difference between the two? Can you bridge that gap for me?
Absolutely. So um, robots are take all kinds of forms, and most of the starting robots are really about the mechanical things that they can do to solve sort of dirty, dull, or dangerous tasks. Well, why I focus on social robots is really about the communication ability. So she has an Android tablet on her chest. This version is an iPal 2 robot. It's commercially available. She has a camera in her eye, and she's about 40 inches tall. She's got arms that with articulated elbows, so she can actually move her arms, and I'll show you that for those viewers who are listening or sort of watching the podcast instead of just listening. Um, and she can talk and engage in conversations, but using the tablet is kind of like anything you can do on a tablet, you can do pretty much on the robot. But she's also connected to a robot operating system, so you can do other things as well. So she can be used in recreation settings, so for playing games like math games, word games, trivia games, things like that. But also music is a big one. I don't know if you want me to play one, but Happy Birthday is one of the most asked for songs. So we just customized this version. And do you want me to play it a little bit?
Yes,
Or?
please. Yes, please.
Okay, so happy birthday, happy birthday, happy birthday to you. Happy birthday. I'll just stop there just to give you a sense of it. So you can add any kind of music. You can add videos. You can add photos and share them with the residents, and staff actually love these as well. So it's kind of a combination.
I love that. That is phenomenal. What other things does Mindy do, and how do they actually help prevent and minimize or reduce social isolation and help our families, our loved ones, the people that are in these retirement homes and in these facilities? How does that help? How does Mindy help alleviate that problem?
Well, there's a couple of things. So I use a separate tablet to control Mindy from a distance. So you can touch the tablet like I did for the playing that song, but I can also use this tablet. I can have her talk, which is how I had her say hi, Marcus, and also move her arms, and then also her facial expression. So you probably can't see in the lighting here, but there's some LED lights for her mouth and her eyebrows. And then also all the media that comes preloaded on the robot can be played from this tablet. So that's one of the ways that it can work. And I actually envision a future where some of the more capable adults in the retirement homes can be robot helpers. So the robot doesn't sort of operate on its own. It needs to be, it gets plugged in. You can turn it on, turn it off. It's very safe to use, and it's hard plastic, so it can be wiped down, between visits, so that if there's any concern about germs or whatnot. But basically, how the robot addresses social isolation is this whole idea of how do you engage people. And most older adults have never seen a humanoid robot in action. And so the first question I always get asked is, what can it do? And so the process that I've gone through in the last 3 years is to really start with meet and greets. So to give people just like a 2-minute, 5-minute intro, walk up to them when they're at their lunch table, or this is Mindy, would you like to play a song? Or she can have a little chat with them. And there's like this whole curiosity and excitement. One of the misconceptions I think about older adults is that they are kind of like on their way out. They're not interested in learning anything new. They want to, look back all the time. But that's not true at all. What's really important in terms of their cognitive well-being and also just their general interest is that many of them want to keep learning new things. So robots is a great way for them to learn. The fact that the robot is a humanoid form factor, so even though it's very clearly a robot, like it doesn't have like a human-like face, it's a robot's face, but it's like having a visit with a grandchild. So you don't expect a grandchild to be having like, a PhD dissertation with you. You can have simple conversations, which is fine. And one of the things that I've learned in our pilot studies last year is that the robot can be really helpful in memory care units. So I wasn't expecting that at all. I was thinking it would be more used for people who are cognitively well and wanted to stay connected with their family and do video calls or share photos or that sort of thing. But where I thought like the key thing would be that just learning the technology. And you can learn to use the robot in about 10 or 15 minutes. It literally, if you know how to use a smartphone or a tablet, you can learn how to use the robot that fast. But the true benefit, or not true, but one of the many benefits that I have found with the robot is in memory care, where the staff are just overworked and overwhelmed with how many needs there are among their residents. And so on any given shift, the robot can accompany them into the room or into a group activity and engage a handful of people while the staff person is interacting with somebody who needs more support. So it really, I think, augments or adds to the capacity of the staff in a retirement home. And that's really the vision that I have for these robots, is at least one social robot in every retirement home in North America. And I think that'll make a huge difference to both social isolation and just the general sense of boredom that people experience.
So the goal of Mindy, what you're trying to do, is not to actually replace staff, but to go side and side and work together.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, there is a huge staff shortage in these retirement homes and facilities. And, we've all heard about the great resignation since COVID and so forth. And so there will be people who think that it's about replacing staff. It's not. There are so many vacant positions. And so to me, it's about alleviating the overwhelm and the overwork for the team that is in place, right? And to be able to, once we are able to have more volunteers go in, family members can use the robots. They can find ways. I had this story about my son. I say, okay, we got to go visit Grandma and Papa, and he's like, oh, I don't know what to say. And I say, well, let's bring the robot, and you can, show them how the robot works or whatever. And he's like, oh, okay. So there's like this excitement about the generations, and that to me is, it's not. I'm not taking the job of the recreation leader. They're going to still do their bingo games and hire the guitar player and do all the things that they do to support staff, but this is a really essential add-on that people I don't think that most retirement homes or long-term care facilities even think it's feasible. And I'm just trying to get the word out to say there's a really cost-effective way to make a huge difference with your residents. So please, try this out and see the impact that it has.
This is phenomenal. You are making headway, and this is such an overlooked thing. I never thought, but you hear about it, right? You hear about the neglect. You hear about the mistreatment of our loved ones, of our elderly, our older adults being mistreated and being almost forgotten in retirement homes, in these facilities. And you are here paving the way, bridging the gap between two genres, two households, two generations of families that can now come together as one. And so that is incredible. Lee and Mindy, y'all. Wow. We have one quick commercial break. You guys don't go anywhere. Stay tuned. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
If you're looking for a reliable professional trucking and logistics service, you've come to the right place. Musa Trucking is a veteran-owned and operated premier transportation provider that can help with all of your trucking and logistics needs. Musa is revolutionizing the trucking industry through strategic partnerships, the development of core personnel, and the use of cutting-edge technology. Our inventory system ensures that cargo ends up divided into the right trucks and reaching the correct destination. Our drivers are dedicated to transporting goods efficiently and safely. Contact us today to get started by visiting the website on the screen or by calling 757-756-5246.
I'm Marcus Norman, bringing fresh vibes to hot topics surrounding culture, relationships, business, finance, sex, dating, faith, and everything in between. Whether you're into passive income opportunities, trending topics and useful relationship tips, or dynamic guest speakers, there's something for everyone. You can expect all that and more every week. If you're down with this content, then consider joining our growing community by subscribing to Gentleman Style Podcast and smash the bell to get on our VIP list. Your support means the world. Thanks for watching. Link to my channel.
We are back. We have Lee and Mindy here on Social Robots, and they are here to help us bridge the gap, and they're here to educate us on a need that we are missing the mark on. And if you missed it, she just Mrs. Lee broke down earlier how she is able to introduce Mindy to retirement facilities and retirement homes and not replace staff, but work side by side with staff to help our loved ones, help our elderly, help the people we care about that it sometimes seems that time forgot about, and to connect to the household without necessarily having to inconvenience anyone, right? It still gives the sense of companionship, and it allows families to still stay bonded and glued and in touch with that family member. Oh my gosh, I'm stuttering because I'm in shock, because I feel terrible on the inside, because man, with everything going on in the world, COVID-19, elections, Ukraine, we can't leave our families alone. We can't forget about here, home, what's really important. And so I thank you, doctor. I thank you for what you are doing. What are some other is Mindy able to bring like medication and medicine to deliver medicine to my loved one, to a family member?
Not yet, and maybe not. It's not something I personally want to focus on because I'm concerned about the liability of what if she makes a mistake. And so really what this is about right now in terms of my product roadmap is, let's start with some basic activities, right? So music, word games, light exercises, and sorry, there's a fourth games, and sharing of photos and family connections, whether it's through live video or through asynchronous visits. So those four things, if we do those well, then people will start to get used to, okay, the robots are safe, they're comfortable, I love interacting with them, that's great. Okay, then what's the next step? Maybe then it's calendar reminders and medication robots and things like that. So there are other tools available that I think are better than the robot at those activities right now, or will be. They will be validated over time in terms of like the pharmacy type dispensing of meds. But right now it really is a focus on that social interaction, social engagement, entertainment, education, really stimulating the brain, which slows down cognitive decline. But then also just providing that sense of a relationship connection that you can have. Like, people don't take photographs of a tablet or your smartphone, but everybody wants to take pictures of Mindy. So there's like this, it's not, that it's a robot, so it's not like it's not like you're having a real visit with your grandchild. But if you've got photos shared of your family, or you've had things, there'd be an opportunity to say, I'm so excited I had a visit from Mindy. And that's really what the focus is. And I've been advised by all my, sort of mentors and advisors to say, stay in your lane, do something very well, very narrow. And then, other capabilities may come over time. But right now it's still a startup company, and we don't have the capacity to add all the things that are possible. So the question is, yes, it's technically possible. Not something I'm prepared to add to the service options right now.
And that's fair. That's fair. That makes absolute sense. You mentioned cognitive function. How is Mindy able to help my grandfather who suffers from dementia with all the services that she can do? Is there any assistance in that area that Mindy can assist with?
Yeah, definitely. There are many types of dementia, and it's a very broad topic. So let me be clear that one of the reasons I suggest that you do sort of like a short visit to start with, and then you do follow-ups depending on the reaction of the person, is that some people may not want to interact with the robot, and that's fine. When I first started doing pilot studies last year, I thought that it would be maybe 20% of people would want to see Mindy again and engage with her, because I was really focusing on those who were experiencing loneliness, boredom, and social isolation. But what we found, in fact, it was 96% of people wanted to see her again. So there were some people who thought, oh no, this is too childish for me. This is not of interest to me at all. It's like, okay, that's fine. Mindy won't bother you or whatever. It's like, yeah, the recreation leader has to bring her to their room, or, is at an event. So if they don't want to go to the event where Mindy is, then they don't have to participate. But the opportunity for people with dementia, especially, is extraordinary. I honestly wasn't expecting this, but I'm not an expert in dementia. So when I started my very first pilot study was supposed to start in March of 2020. And I did the initial meeting with the woman, 72 years old, had been experiencing dementia for a number of years, and her niece was her main caregiver. And we were going to do this 4-week pilot study. And I brought her into the foyer of the room. It was sort of before we started wearing masks, but COVID was kind of on the horizon and they were just about to shut down. And this woman, who had been basically catatonic for months, saw Mindy and put her hands out to give her a hug. She was like leaned towards her, and I was like, and her niece says, "Is it safe to hug her?" I was like, "Absolutely." She's like, she's weighted at the bottom. She's not going to tip over. You'll be fine. So she did that. I said, would you like to play a song, or would you like me to play a song? And at the time, I didn't have any custom songs, so I just played one of them. This robot is initially designed for children, so it has preschool songs on it. And let me just show you. It's let me just see. I'll start the song. I think your audience will recognize it. And the pre-programmed songs have all these arm movements that go along with it.
If you're happy and you know it. If you're happy and you know it, clap your hands. If you're happy and you know it, clap your hands.
So we played that song, and at the beginning of the song, there were 2 of us in the foyer. Well, the niece and her aunt and me, so 3 of us. And by the time the song was over, we were surrounded by a dozen people and 3 staff. Everyone is clapping, stomping their feet, shouting hooray. And it was like, oh my gosh, I left that day going, okay, there's something here. This is not what I was expecting. And this is like dramatic. So it really gave me the confidence to keep going. When you think like, oh, when COVID hit and I thought, oh, you know what, this is just not the right thing. I should just go and get a real job. I thought I can't. Like when I saw the reaction of this woman, she was so excited. And when the song was over, her niece turned to me and she says, I have not seen her that engaged in months. That's extraordinary. Like, I don't know what this is about or what it's tapping into in her brain, but she is so energized. We've got to, keep going. So, I'm not saying it's going to be that way for every person who has dementia. There are lots of different types of dementia, lots of different levels, but I was really thrilled. And then subsequently, we did pilot studies from 3 different facilities, formal pilot studies in 2021. We were able to get in last year. And similar experience where the staff was like, oh, this is such a relief. Look at how engaged people are. They're reaching out to her. They want a fist bump. They're doing all this stuff. And then that one staff person doesn't have, 12 or 16 people to take care of. They have, they're accountable for all those people, but they have something else to do for those people while they're interacting one-on-one with somebody, right? So I think it can make a huge difference. Again, but it's not a blanket answer.
Absolutely. Miss Lee, I wanted to ask who is the market? Who is the target market for Mindy? I know the goal is to get them into retirement home and facilities, but who pays for the delivery of Mindy? Is it the families for their loved ones, or is it the facilities and the caretakers and the retirement centers? Who bears that cost?
Well, we're actually engaged in sort of an assessment of that, because there are so many different ways that it can be paid for, right? So we can lease it or they can purchase it. There is like a maintenance if you want to keep updating fresh content and new activities and suggestions for ideas. So if it's Mother's Day or if it's Christmas, whatever different ideas of, activities to engage in. That's like part of a maintenance contract. But I'm looking at everything from setting up GoFundMe campaigns to help facilities if they're not for profit and they want to do a GoFundMe campaign to pay for the robot. That's totally legit. Like there are lots of different opportunities. I'm not aware, at least not in Canada where I've done most of my sales calls, I'm not aware of too many retirement homes that want the families to pay individually, because it really is a community technology support, right? So it's like when they have technology desk in their foyer, often they'll have like a couple of computers, tablets, or whatever. The robot is not meant to be like a one-on-one purchase. It really is meant to be used by the community. And so the families tend to just want to like have any expenses sort of brought into like their monthly fees or whatever. They don't want to have to pay extra for, if Mindy's going to go and have a one-on-one visit, we have to pay $25 or whatever. I don't think that has that. I mean, I don't really care what the client does. If that's what the retirement home wants to do, that's fine. But I haven't heard of any of my customers deciding that that's the route they want to take. It's generally they either buy it from their capital budget or they lease it for their operating budget, and then the recreation staff have like an annual or monthly budget that they pay the maintenance fees for.
That makes sense. Because that can be, I guess that can be disheartening, right? If you see Mindy go into one room and then, it's only for that one family member or that one person. So it's for everybody. It's a community effort. So that makes perfect sense.
And there are also day programs. There are sort of community outreach activities where Mindy could be used, not necessarily in a retirement home. And also universities and colleges are interested in doing research on robots. So there's lots of different places where Mindy and some of the robots are of interest for sure.
What are some obstacles or challenges that you're facing? What are some things that the community can help? We have a question that trumps my question. Does she walk, or do you have to carry her?
So she does walk, and you can carry her. So let me just show quickly. I can have her move forward. I can have her move backwards, and I'm doing that through this tablet here. So I can just manage that, and then I can also have her turn around. So when I've done, so she can. When I've done sing-alongs and stuff, I'll often have her move. Excuse me.
You're fine. It's okay.
But on her back, she has a handle. Sorry, my voice just.
It's okay.
Excuse me.
It's okay. Take your time.
So there's a handle here. She's like 28 pounds. Then I'll just lift her up like that. So lift her under the torso and on the back. Very easy.
You're really strong, Doc. You're really strong. Ashley, I know what you're doing. Ashley is my best friend. She wants to buy one. She's texting me right now, and I can't. I'm gonna ask the question. She wants to know, how much does Mindy cost?
So, pardon me, I'm not joking because of the question. I still have this dry throat.
Take your time. How about this? We're gonna go to another commercial break. You guys stay tuned. Ashley, we are going to answer your question. We'll be right back.
Good day, podcast listeners. This is your boy, Marcus Norman of Gentleman Style Podcast Show. I wanted to let you guys know that we will be rolling out a new feature and adding a join sponsor button next to the subscriber button here at the bottom of your screen. Once you click the button, it will display 3 membership levels. Gentleman Gentry, which is our entry level, Duke Duchess, which is our season level, and the Emperor and Empress, which is our most sophisticated level, which you will receive unique perks and benefits at each differing level and gain access to our community tab. We will also be sharing polls, upcoming events, and interviews, as well as receive feedback from our sponsors directly. Your support helps me find new and exciting guests to bring to the stage live. Well, in order to get the higher end speakers It requires, well, you guessed it, money. So thank you for tuning in to my channel. And if becoming a sponsor sounds good to you, then select the join button below and choose your desired sponsor level. Let's continue to grow and serve the future of generations of men and women to come. Love you guys. Bye.
Are you a local business looking to offer your customers easy access to cash without having to travel miles? We're here to help. At Norman Legacy Investments, we provide free ATMs with free installation that provide a suitable investment for your business. Even better, we offer you some profit sharing and handle everything from start to finish. Just reach out to us today to schedule a free consultation.
We are back, and we have Lee and Mindy here on the Gentleman Style Podcast show. They just broke down some of even the dementia. Mindy's able to help. First off, she shared there are various levels to dementia, but there have been actual improvements, and she shared a story on how it helped with one of the dementia patients in one of the retirement facilities, and how Mindy is able to enhance and just bring joy where there seemed to be no joy for a really long time, and how she's changing the landscape, and how she's making people smile again, and again bridging the gap between family members who may not have the capability to visit their loved ones as often. And so I want to come back to my show. And I wanted to come back to Miss Ashley. She asked, does Mindy walk? And she showed that as well. But she also texted me and she wanted to know, can you share the cost of Mindy, and how much does it cost to have her?
Of course, yeah. So if you wanted to lease Mindy, it's $2,000 US or 2,400 Canadian per month for a minimum 3-month lease. And then if you wanted to, that includes sort of maintenance or any updates during that lease period. If you wanted to buy Mindy outright, it's a $12,500 Canadian, which I think is around 10,000 US, but I'm not exactly sure. And again, that would be plus a $3,500 a year maintenance contract for the tech support, remote tech support, and the updated content on a regular basis. And that also includes training for staff and volunteers.
Perfect. Thank you. And I hope that answers your future question, Ashley. She's gonna round up the money, and she's gonna
get one, Marcus.
You read my mind. Yeah. So we will brainstorm on that. Doctor, Miss Lee, how can we connect with you? How can we support you? How can we learn more? The train has left the station. You are growing in leaps and bounds. How can we connect with you and learn more about what you're doing?
So my website is socialrobots.ca, and my email, Lee, Lee, at socialrobots.ca. I'm happy to answer any questions people have. We're on all the social media channels, LinkedIn, Facebook. I'm not very good with Instagram, but I try. And that's social.robots. And then on, I think, LinkedIn and Twitter, it's social_ or social-robots. I keep forgetting. But yeah, so I'm available and interested in anything that your listeners would like to talk about. And it really is, for me, it's a passion project. I'm so committed to having older adults have an amazing experience as they age and not suffer. My mom is 89 years old. She's sharp as a tack, and I want her to have a great life. And I don't want people to feel like they've been abandoned. And so for me, social robots can help. I know that people are the cornerstone and the key part of that, but I also think that retirement homes aren't necessarily fun places to work. And I think that social robots can make them more fun.
They absolutely can. Miss Lee, you are incredible. You and Mindy are amazing. And I thank you for the great works that you're doing, the strides, the leaps and bounds. And I want to say this to you publicly. Don't ever quit. don't ever give up. We need you. We need this. Our future depends on what the work that you're doing. So I thank you, and I want to say to you, don't ever quit. Don't ever give up, please.
Thank you, Marcus. Your words are very well timed and very generous. And I'm so thankful to have met you and to be part of your podcast. I really think that what you're doing is amazing as well. And I'm just thrilled to be have an opportunity to be a part of what you're doing.
It is my honor. The beauty about my show is I get to find unique and amazing people like you and bring them to the show and shine a light on what's important. And you are important. What you're doing is important. So thank you.
So much.
Ashley, girl, get out of here. I love you, Ashley. Thank you all for tuning in to the Gentleman Style Podcast Show. I hope this was inspiring. I hope this was educational. And I hope this shined a light on what we need to also bring to the focus of our attention and the great works Lee and Mindy are doing and the impact they're making in the world. I hope this message serves you. I hope this helps. And like I always, we got to let Miss Lee and Mindy go. They have to change the world. They have to continue to reach out and grow and expand and touch loved ones across the globe. Like I always. Oh, she told me.
Bye-bye.
Have a good day.
Good day, Mindy. Love you guys. Oh my gosh.
Thanks
Like
so
I
much.
always end every show, take care of your friends, take care of your family, and always take care of business. This is Marcus of Gentleman Style Podcast Show and Lee and Mindy signing off. Love you guys. Bye.